Hi everyone, very good evening and welcome back to CGB Mentors. So in this particular class, we are going to see some of the MCQs on the facilities that are extended to exporters and importers. Let us start. See, number one, we have under EDPMS, Export Data Processing and Monitoring System, which of the following statement is incorrect? They are asking you something. Separate submission of export outstanding statement is no longer required. First of all, see the directive, it is incorrect, right? So separate submission of statement is no longer required, okay. Banks are required to report extension of realization period in EDPMS, okay. Caution listing of the exporters can be initiated by the banks independently without RBI approval, and EDPMS helps monitor overdue export bills and export proceeds not realized within prescribed timelines. Now, if you have studied the EDPMS related guidelines, you will understand that this is the incorrect statement, or this can be the correct answer for us, because banks are not allowed caution listing of the exporters independently. Caution listing ka matlab, if there is risk related to the realization of payments and other kinds of risk, bank can only recommend RBI, cannot initiate the caution listing of the exporter on its own. Right? So remember this, caution listing requires recommendation by banks, but the final decision is with RBI. Right? They have to recommend it to the RBI. Rest are the correct options. Now next we have, which of the following cannot be used as a valid method of receiving export payment from Bhutan? So if you are receiving the export payment through Bhutan, inward remittances in Indian rupees, okay, payment through via FCNRB account, okay, foreign currency notes sent directly to India, direct receipt of payment in Nepalese rupees, right? So by looking at the options, you can clearly make out we are not going to receive through Nepalese rupees, right? हमें इस mechanism में payment नहीं चाहिए. Why? All these methods are allowed, right? If you are receiving the export earnings through Nepal and Bhutan, you can receive it in Indian currency, but not via through Nepalese currency if you are earning through Bhutan, right? So आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते. Directly receiving through Indian currency or acceptable foreign currency, both are allowed, but not via Nepalese rupees. That is not allowed. Okay. Then we have question number 3. An exporter wants to adjust export receivables against import payables. Okay, fine. आपको जो एक्सपोर्ट से मिलने वाला है, आप उसको इम्पोर्ट्स के लिए जो पे करना है उसके अगेंस्ट एडजस्ट करना चाहते हो अंडर नेटिंग रूल्स. Now, which of the following conditions must not be satisfied for such adjustment? Okay, transaction should be between the same entities in both countries. Okay, netting can be applied only on the balance sheet date of the entity. Fine. Both exports and imports must have occurred in the same financial year, and the transaction should involve under CEZ regulation. So there are few things which are correct. CEZ में होना चाहिए transactions, right? Entities should be same. So there are two entities, A and B. They have engaged in export and import, right? So from India we have exported, and from there we have imported, right? So this is how a two-way transaction has happened between the same entities. Great. And the netting can be applied only on the balance sheet date. It's fine, but there is no condition that it should have occurred in same financial year. ऐसी कोई condition नहीं है कि आपका ये जो export या import है दोनों same financial year में होना चाहिए. There is no such restrictions like that. Okay, so that is why option number C is incorrect. Now, a diamond exporter receives pre-shipment credit in foreign currency. Okay, he later defaults on repayment. What is the likely consequence regarding his foreign exchange liability? Okay, so he has defaulted. Bank will crystallize the liability in Indian rupees after the due date plus your NTP, that is your transit period. The bank will continue to carry the liability indefinitely. The liability will automatically convert at the prevailing buying rate. The bank will restructure the loan at lower interest rate to help the exporter recover. Now all these things looks unviable. You have been asked what is the likely consequence if an exporter has defaulted on the repayment. अगर repayment पे default किया है तो likely आपका बैंक का इसमें favor और what would be the what you can say step taken by the bank. See, bank will crystallize the liability into Indian rupees because we don't want forex risk beyond that point, right? We have to convert it into Indian rupees so that we know what is the exact amount we have to recover. Number one, after the due date plus the normal transit period. Normal transit period का मतलब क्या होता है? This is the time period which you generally give, right? This is the kind of period we accept that okay, this time delay can happen. ठीक है, इतना delay is acceptable, right? So normally suppose I have sold goods to Mr. A and that is the normal credit period I am giving 30 days, right? And I'll expect the payment after 30 days only. So that much is allowed. So this is the consequence that the bank will do in case of default in realizing export proceeds. Foreign exchange liability will be crystallized into INR at the selling rate on the due date plus normal transit period. This avoids open forex exposure for the bank. We do not want any longer foreign currency related risk. Now next we have which is statement about the gold card scheme for the exporters is correct. So for this particular question, you should know that the gold card scheme is for the selected exporters only after looking at the export history of these kind of exporters, right? So gold card holders, they are exempt from ECGC insurance coverage regardless of risk profile. Exporters blacklisted by ECGC may still be eligible if their overdue bills are less than 5%. Banks must provide foreign currency term loans from RFC account to all gold card holders, and banks may waive collateral security based on exporters' creditworthiness. So if you understand the purpose of gold card scheme, you will also understand that ultimately this can be the viable option. Other looks non-viable. Why would exporters blacklisted by ECG would be eligible for this? No, right? RFC for NRIs. So it does not have any relation for the exporters. Basically, the collateral security can be waived based on the creditworthiness of the exporter. So that is the gold card scheme. Now, which of the following is not a valid reason for an exporter to claim a refund of realized export proceeds? Goods were returned due to quality defects. तो यहाँ पे आपसे पूछा है not a valid reason to claim refund. That means others should be a valid reason to claim a refund of realized export proceeds. Goods were returned due to quality defects. Trade disputes resulted in cancellation of order post-shipment. Export incentive have already been claimed and surrendered. Refund is made through same bank that received the original payment. See, over here if you will see, they are asking you that what should not be a valid reason for an exporter to claim a refund of realized export proceeds. That means here, in which case you are not going to give the refund. So if there is a trade dispute that has happened, if the export bill has already been realized, a trade dispute post-shipment does not justify a refund unless the goods are actually returned and documented properly. So if you have actually received the goods, at that moment of time, we can think of giving back the refund to you, but till then, this is not a possibility, right? So refunds are allowed only when the goods are returned. Just a trade dispute will not allow you to claim refund. Now, which facility allows exporters to retain 100% of the earnings outside India temporarily but mandates conversion in INR by the end of month? Diamond dollar, EEFC, RFC, FCNRB account. See, diamond dollar is for diamond merchants. RFC and FCNRB is for NRI, and EEFC is for the exchange earners forex account, right? So over here, exporters can retain 100% of their earning outside India temporarily, right? So this is the EEFC account for you. Now, which of the following cannot be considered as a valid method of settlement under Asian Clearing Union? Why we have this kind of clearing union? So that if there is a settlement which is happening between the Asian countries, it can be done in the easily available forex currencies. So settlement between India and Myanmar, freely convertible currency, okay. India Sri Lanka using euro, okay. India Nepal using dollars. India and Pakistan using yen. See, other looks viable, but India and Nepal over here, what we do is we just take the payment in Indian rupees also, right? So if you are exporting to India and Bhutan, Nepal and Bhutan, we'll accept the payment in Indian currency also. So there is no need of going through Asian Clearing Union, ठीक है? इसकी कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. So Nepal is exempted from ACU mechanism, even though it's a member. Settlements between India and Nepal are conducted outside this clearing system. Okay. Which of the following is not a feature of forfeiting? Not a feature. Provides 100% finance without recourse. Based on promissory note, risk of interest fluctuations is borne by the exporter. Involves avalization by the importer's bank account in many cases. See over here, any kind of interest rate fluctuation will be borne by the forfeiter, not the exporter. Risk is transferred to the forfeiter, not to the exporter. Exporter does not retain any kind of risk. Rest of all are the viable features of forfeiting, right? So it offers fixed rate financing, so the exporter does not bear the interest rate related risk. And lastly, you have what is the maximum time limit for the repatriation of export proceeds in case of goods exported to a warehouse abroad. See, normally 9 months is the time limit for the repatriation, but if you have exported the goods to the warehouse, in that particular case, what is the time limit that you have is 15 months with RBI permissions. So this is it. In this particular session, we have discussed few questions on the facilities granted to the importer and exporter. I hope you would have understood it.